Hey, I'm Samantha Hesse. I'm the Biodiversity Project Officer at the City of Coffs Harbour. We've been working with Southern Cross University and North Coast Local Land Services as well as Coffs Harbour Regional Landcare since 2016 to better investigate the impacts that we're finding are coming from intensive plant agriculture activities such as bananas, blueberries and hothouse horticulture. Part of this collaboration has allowed us to develop solutions for some of the issues, particularly the wastewater issue that we've got from intensive plant agriculture. Bioreactors are one part of that solution. These simple structures act to treat the wastewater that's come from these horticulture properties.
Hi, I'm Professor Kirsten Benkendorff from the National Marine Science Centre at Southern Cross University. Managing runoff from intensive horticulture can be a significant challenge, especially when we have steep catchments such as we do here in the Coffs Harbour region on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. So only between about 3 and 5% of the pesticides that are applied to crops actually stick to the plants. The rest of the pesticides run off into the soil where they can impact the health of the soil, and they can also run off after rain events and get into our waterways where they can impact seafood, and above the environmental limits they can actually be at illegal levels. So using effective drainage, we can actually channel the water away from the hothouse through into these bioreactors, and the bioreactor will then trap a lot of these pesticides and the nutrients. So we sampled soil from a transect starting at the front of the hothouse and then going through into the bioreactor and out the other side. And what we found was really high levels of pesticides, 11 different pesticides in front of the hothouses, pretty high concentrations. But when we sampled further down into the bioreactor and below, we found both a lower number of pesticides and lower concentrations of the pesticides, thus meaning that we are actually absorbing some of those pesticides and breaking them down in the bioreactor. We actually want farmers to consider minimising the use of pesticides whenever they can, reduce overspray and not use pesticides in rainy weather, also considering not using water-soluble pesticides near aquatic waterways. Farmers are heavily exposed to these pesticides, so even though some of the more modern pesticides might be more expensive, they can actually degrade quicker in the environment, which means less exposure, and some of them are less toxic to both the environment and safer for human health.
We do have some key messages for growers. Number one, please contact your local council. You may require development consent for your horticulture activities, so please do check with council first in your local government area. The second thing is please capture and treat your wastewater, your runoff from your operations. These can be done through bioreactors. There are also other methods, but again, if you can capture and treat your wastewater, that stops that wastewater potentially contaminating our waterways. The other thing too is to try and optimise your water usage and your fertiliser usage. A lot of farmers are finding that the use of power plant systems, which are computerised controllers, they've managed to increase their water efficiency. We've had one farmer actually report to us that he's reduced his fertiliser use by 75%. Another part of our collaboration with Southern Cross University and North Coast Local Land Services has been involving Coffs Harbour Regional Landcare. They run a lot of workshops for growers. They've put out a lot of documentation too, so there are a lot of articles that are of use to growers actually on Coffs Harbour Regional Landcare's website. Also look again at your local council websites or contact a local cooperative such as Ausgroup that we have here on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. Also DPI, contact New South Wales DPI. They have a lot of resources and some dedicated people there who can help you with your new venture.